Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Power BI and Data Analysis Learning Community session. Today we're having a MA session with Ruth about Power BI. So today, ask me how I'd saying about Power BI with Ruth today. Okay. So the Power BI learning community is being powered by your business and being brought to you by Enterprise DNA. And your business, Enterprise DNA is a data analytics firm, which the primary goal is to empower users to learn about Power BI and use Power BI to make the world a better place. Then your business powers this community and they are registered Microsoft Consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analysts, and enterprise solution firm in Nigeria. And they specialize in helping companies and high valuable professionals be on top of their business data. They're also the developers of the financial modeling, Nigeria financial markets analysis tool, which is the Microsoft Office store. And if you go on the website, you can get access to online courses as well as physical classes. You just have to make inquiries. Okay, so today our guest speaker is Ruth, and Ruth's a Microsoft MVP. She's also the owner of Curbal AB, and she has degrees in engineering. She's also, like I mentioned, in Microsoft MVP, and which is in data platform because of her contribution to Power BI community. So I'll post the link to our YouTube channel in the chat description as well as our company blog. So over to you, Ruth. Hello, Ruth.
Yes, hi, hello everybody. Nice to meet you all. Really cool to be here.
So today, we hosting, so it's going to be more of an MA session. So maybe you could also tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, a little bit about me. As you mentioned in the presentation, I am an engineer, actually. I'm a mechanical engineer. So I've been working as an engineer for most of my professional life. But when Power BI came around like 2015, 2014, I started using it. I loved it. And I spin off to become I don't know what to call it, like a data, Power BI data freak, maybe. So I am basically doing Power BI consulting nowadays as a full-time job. I still love engineering though. I love data more, I think.
So why did you get into Power BI? Like, what made it so, I don't know, exciting?
Yeah. So I don't know. I've always been a very analytical person, enjoyed working with data and reason with data, analyze it. And Power BI was the first time that I could actually do it without being an IT professional. I think that was what made it for me, because Excel, you can do it, but the data, if it gets a little bit big, Excel crashes, and Power BI didn't. So I thought it was a excellent tool for a business user to be able to work with, and enjoyed so much that I decided to start my own company and deliver services for Power BI.
That's actually very interesting. Thank you. Okay, so there are quite a lot of questions. So I kept a link. So I asked a couple of questions. Well, maybe first of all, can just give us maybe what's Power BI, like in your own view. So like, what's Power BI? And maybe the features you like the most about it.
Yes. Okay. So answering what Power BI is actually quite tough nowadays, because Power BI is a lot of things. It's a huge platform where you can manage, where you can report on your data. So you have tools to analyze and visualize data, but you have also tools to manage your data, the life cycle of your data, how to get data, how to transform it, how to schedule refresh it, how to move it around. So it is quite a big platform nowadays. I don't think you will find anybody in the world that knows everything there is to know about Power BI, because it's gotten so big. So we are all specialized in different parts of it. Even though we can touch everything, there are points that it gets too tough, and yeah, you you need help in order to know everything, basically. So my favorite part is obviously the Power BI desktop, right? That's where I spend most of my time, and that's where I enjoy most. Just creating reports and analyzing data, cleaning data. And then there's people that hate cleaning data. I think it's quite fun. I don't know why, but I enjoy it. Just putting data into shape to analyze it. So visualization, but Power BI is not very good in visualization. So yeah, I struggle a little bit with that, but otherwise I think it's the analysis part of Power BI platform that I enjoy the most.
Okay, there's one video that I saw, the one you did of the word stuff that was done. I don't know.
Which video was it?
So there's one particular video you did about the word. Like it looked like the word you could rotate it. You could rotate the map.
Oh,
so
yeah. It was a world map that it was the shape map that it was.
Yeah, shape map like it looked like you were rotating because of the effect you kept on that.
Yeah. I cannot take credit for that though, because I didn't do it. It was Microsoft that did that. They just created a video to show you how they did it, but it was their creation. It was not mine. I just show you how to do it. But I really thought it was, these type of visualizations are super cool to grab attention. They might not be from an analytical standpoint, like super easy to read. So if you want to be detailed, or if you want to know, but it's a very flashy way to get people's attention. And it is definitely worth a page in a Power BI report, for sure.
Sure. That's true. Okay, so I'll get to the questions. So let me just look at some questions that were asked from the form that was sent out. Okay, so the first question was, so someone asked about a roadmap, like what roadmap will you decide for those that want to get to data analysis? So if I want to get started in data analysis at the moment, like what direction will you advise me to get started?
Yeah, okay.
So if you want advise your younger self to get started? Yeah.
So if you want to get into data analysis, what path would you take?
Yeah, what path will you take? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It depends. Unfortunately, it depends. But the thing is that if you have a background in data or IT, I would take a different way than if you have a background on business, because your skills are different depending on where you come from, and your weaknesses are also, and the strengths are also different. So you will have to focus on the things that you don't know a little bit more. For example, to be specific, if you come from the business world, you will know a lot about managing stakeholders, creating presentations, maybe not too much about cleaning data, managing data, connecting to APIs, all this technical stuff. So probably you would need to put a lot of more attention into the technical parts. If you come from the IT world, you probably know everything you need to know about, coding and DAX and the APIs and all that type of stuff. But then you struggle with the presentation, talking to your users and understand what they are saying, right? What do you want? Can I provide it for you? And you will need to focus more on that part. Like, you need to identify what parts you're feeling that you need to develop more and focus on that. If you're looking for a job, then I guess the path is the same. You need to somehow showcase what you know, right? So to make the recruiter interested in you. And the more data talk you have when you speak, regardless of your background, the higher the chances that they'll be interested in you and hire you. I think the data world takes people in from everywhere, which I think is so cool. So you don't have to be an IT or know SQL or code from the data world to get a job. You can actually be an accountant or a painter or anything that you like, and you will be accepted in the data world as long as you are analytical. That's all, and you have an interest to learn.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
So Timila is here. Okay. So
Okay.
there's a question. So you have every Friday you do this Dark Friday. I think
Yeah.
so wherever and I saw people posted that you were dark screen. Someone called it a dark screen on the WhatsApp group. So how do you sustain it? How do you do this? Like how do you keep it running? Doing these multiple videos every week and releasing them, like it's not like stressful or burden and all of that.
So how do I get the ideas for the videos?
How do you
To
get the ideas for the videos? How do you keep it to going? Like, does it not get like burdensome or tiring?
yeah. Okay. Mm, uh, it doesn't really get. I don't get bored because the Power it changes all the time. The Power BI platform, it just every month you get new things to play with, new things to learn, and because it is so big, you still have always something that you need to check. And I think for me, it's my customers that they give me challenges and then I have to solve them. And then a lot of the times what you see in the videos is things that I've done for them. Obviously, in another format with the other data sets, you never see the actual work, but it is things that I needed to do in order to resolve their problems. And then I think, hey, I think somebody else might be interested in this or might get into this exact problem. So how about I just show you in case it helps. So it's always a little bit of, okay, I've done these. It might help you. I put it here. And because I, constantly doing projects, then I'm constantly getting challenges and putting them online. So I don't have like a schedule of structure way or these I'm going to deliver this to YouTube channel. It's more like, hey, I think this would be interesting for somebody. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I don't always hit the ball.
It's just a lot of it. It's just a lot of it. Wait,
So
Mike, I see you have a question.
I think Michael answers up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question, and I think it's better I read my question out myself. So that's why I said maybe I should raise my hand. So, your background is a very interesting one. From not just regular engineering, like the hardest aspect of engineering, the ones people go to when there's no mistake about their love for engineering. They want the ones that is the most difficult aspect of engineering, the aeronautics and you didn't just do it in your undergraduate, you still went ahead to do it in master. So it means there must be a love for, that engineering field and that deep end of engineering field. So you don't look very much from afar. It might be a wrong perception, but you will correct me. You don't look very much like the kind of person who, is pumped up about like starting the company, doing all these mundane business aspect of running a company. You look more like someone who will be focused more on getting things done and never needing to worry about the business side of business. And you've been having cover going on for like 8 years plus, and you've been very consistent. But what's the secret? How did you even make the move to leave, an engineering role to start your company, to do this and to face clients and engage different clients, and then, be far away from your from your engineering aspect of your career, kind of.
Yeah. So, I think being an engineer, you don't have to be, but a lot are very analytical. You always have to run some analysis of anything that you are, working with. I was working with water pumps, so we were moving wastewater and clean water from A to B. And there were a lot of calculations and a lot of maths and a lot of stuff that had to be done. Then I got promoted as manager and I was, doing analysis on everything that has to do with managing, right? So we have our own P&L, we have to do our analysis on that. So it's always been analysis part on the engineering side of, of that type of work. It's just that it's always been hard to find the tool that did in a way that it was appealing to me. So Excel was, obviously, I was good in Excel. I was not excellent in Excel. I was just good. I managed myself, but not in a very, medium user. But I always ran into the problem that, okay, we had too much data in our company. So you couldn't do the analysis in Excel. When Power BI came along, then suddenly it opened up other possibilities. I was already in Excel using Power Pivot and Power Query, but it was crashing all the time. It was not a viable solution. And then when Power BI came and I could actually do analysis, I enjoyed it. I started the YouTube channel to, as I was mentioning before, it was just like, hey, I did this. You might be interested too. I'd never had any idea of, this YouTube channel is going to be this big, or I want to be that big, or it was just like, okay, let me share it. Maybe it helps somebody. I've gotten so much help on the internet throughout the years from strangers all the time. So I said, like, okay, I know this, maybe I can help somebody. And then it got big, and then customers started calling in and say, Ruth, how about, because I started so early, there was not a lot of Power BI professionals back then. They called me and, got in business. I loved it. I still love it. The part that I love more about my job is the work that I do with my customers. I do run a company. I do have to, do the YouTube and I, share what I know, but it's still the analysis part that is closest to my heart, the part that I truly enjoy the most. So I think that's, I don't know, people will normally say that we can see that you love working with data. You see it, and I think it's true. I really love doing it, and it was, it became a point that I had to decide: should I stay as an engineer or should I move into the data world? And the decision, although it was very difficult, it was not that difficult from a heart perspective. I really want to do it. It was like, okay, oh my God, I'm going to quit my job. It's crazy. It takes courage to leave a secure job to do something else that you don't know how it's going to turn out. But I said, I have to give it a go. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to being employed. That's fine, but I need to test it. And that's how it went. I mean, I'm not sure. I still love it. I still love what I do and working with data. So hopefully I will be able to do it for a few more years. Let's see.
And it looks like it's working well because you're still going strong.
Yes. There's so much to do, every time I see a new data set, it's like Christmas for me, like, oh my God, yes, bring it. So it's just crazy. I haven't got bored yet. So it probably will come, not everybody, wants to change what they do at some point in life. But for now, I'm happy.
I see the Hans Rollins book, behind you. Rosalie.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I use the video I know very much. Oh, I see this. This is in Swedish, right?
Yeah. It is in Swiss.
Cool.
It's in
Oh,
color.
I think he's also oh, great, cool. Yeah, I've watched this video. So that's the one that is much more popular with most of us. We've all heard about him, and it's always that video and the TED Talk that most of us have gotten into. I've not read the book, but I know from the 1 hour video, the 4 minutes video too, that is very popular on YouTube. Is big on visualization and using data across the world for many years, macroeconomic data, population data, and all to show like big insights, and that brings me to one of the questions I want to ask you, because it's a problem that I face, and I know many people also face. It begins to look a bit like, Power BI is not enough. Maybe not enough in terms of not enough to learn or not enough to do in it, but you keep thinking, should I add Python? Should I add skills in TypeScript? Should I add skills in R? And they could be complementary. I don't need to maybe be trying to be 100% in Power BI. I could achieve more with mastering Power BI and having some competency in one or two other tools. What do you think about that approach, or how do you think, for one's career and relevance, how can one manage those always popping up conflicts and concerns?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm actually where you are at too. I think Power BI is great for smaller data sets, for business users. But one of the things that I think Power BI lacks, let's see, there you go. So one of the things that Power BI lacks, in my opinion, is the visual layer. So you can transform the data in a million ways. You can move it around, you can schedule refresh it, you can get it from anywhere. And when you get to the point that you're going to visualize it, there are a lot of gaps in there. And most of the time, I'm not able to do what I want to do. And I find that a little bit upsetting, actually, because you do all this work and then you do all that to actually visualize your data. That's the end goal, right? And you can't do it the way you want. So for that reason, I'm actually started to learn Python. There are two reasons why I want to start learning Python. The first one is the visualization is very, very powerful, and you can visualize also larger data in there. And the second one is that I would love to do a lot of automation and a little bit of coding. And that will help me if I learn Python. If I learn R, you don't have that aspect. R is more for like data analysis and visualization. But with Python, you can do coding automation too. So I'm actually on my 4th week of learning Python. I'm really enjoying it. And as soon as I start understanding what I'm doing, because I'm not quite doing it yet, I will do videos about it. So you will hear about it. But for now, I just need to, in order to be able to explain something, I need to understand it. So I don't do it yet. As soon as I do, I will definitely start doing some Python videos about it. So hopefully you guys want to join me on that too. And I would recommend, why not? I mean, it's never, if you want to work as a data analyst, SQL is the #1 language still. So you need to know SQL, you need to know Excel. Excel is still the #1 data analysis tool. Whether you like it or not, it is. And then you have Python. If you want to go into big data, you have other tools also, other database. So you need to think about, what do I enjoy doing more? What do I want to focus on? And what are the skills that I can add to Power BI? Because there, as you mentioned, Power BI doesn't do everything. Maybe it's not supposed to do everything either. So to complement with other languages, I think is a good idea. So yeah, Python very, very soon, hopefully.
Okay, thank you. If any more questions from the list you have, so I don't steal all the,
That's okay. If there are any questions, everybody could also up there and ask. Okay, someone asked, like, DAX, so at least DAX so well. So like they're asking for like, what's the best approach or the best resources to learn DAX?
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure I know DAX very well. I'm not sure many people know DAX very well, to be fair. I struggle like everybody else, I think. So I think when it comes to DAX, you can study, but at some point you have to do. And I think it comes to everything that you want to learn. You have to practice. You have to learn the basics, and then you have to practice, because the thing with DAX is that a lot of things happen in the background. There are virtual tables are created and filters are created and things that you don't see. So when you think that you know DAX, you will do something that it will get the answer, a completely weird answer, and you will start, second guessing yourself. It's like, do I really know DAX? Well, and it happens to everybody. So if it's happened to you, don't worry. It happens to most of us, at least. So you need to practice until you understand it, and then get help from. I myself go into the Power BI community all the time. Most of the time at this point of the game, Power BI has been around for 7 years. So somebody has run into the trouble that you are running and have asked the question on the Power BI community. I truly recommend you to go there and search, because I'm sure that somebody has done that and post a solution that you can maybe not copy paste right away, but you probably will be able to adjust to your data set and use it, or at least get an idea of, I can solve it maybe that way, to give you an inspiration of how it could be solved. Then when it comes to actual resources there are DAX courses. I haven't taken any, so I'm not sure. I don't dare to specify any, but I'm sure that SQL BI guys are very popular. You have a lot of resources on YouTube, on DAX, all levels. You have books, So I would again say just practice and learn as you practice, if you're a practical person like myself. So hopefully this helps.
Yes,
So
virtual
Grace,
helps.
okay.
Okay, so let's go. Yeah, so Grace sounds off right now.
So Grace, can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, good
Hello.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to ask, are there features for data wrangling in SQL? I think it's very deficient in cleaning data. What is best? Is it to clean data with Python, convert it to CSV, then import it into Power BI? I'm always confused with the process. Thank you.
I'm afraid I didn't get the question. Would you mind?
Okay, what I said is SQL as a language for data analysis. They say data analysts spend most of the time cleaning data, but I don't really think SQL has, maybe I'm missing something actually, but I don't think SQL has that feature, that supports cleaning really messy data.
Okay.
Probably
okay.
I don't know how to do it. So
Yeah, okay.
most times I prefer to do that with Python. So I was thinking if there's any other way one can go around cleaning data in SQL and maybe visualizing with Power BI. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure SQL. I'm not at SQL. I mean, I just know a little bit of SQL, just to be clear as to what my capabilities are. But when it comes to SQL, people normally do. I'm not sure it would be cleaning data, but it's more like transforming data, like put it in the shape, which in a way is like cleaning it. But normally when you are working with bigger data, if it's a small data set, it doesn't matter. You can just put it into Power BI and clean with Power Query. That's what I would do. But if you have a little bigger data set, then you want to clean it as close to the source as possible, and then just import it into Power BI right away, right, without having to do any Power Query stuff, because it will slow your model. And then when you go back, the question is, should you do it in SQL? Should you do it in analysis services? Analysis services now support Power Query. There are quite many tools where you can do it. You could do it in Python, for example, as you mentioned. And what tool is best to use, it depends on the infrastructure that you have. So also it depends on the experience that you have. So if you know SQL, you probably would like to do the cleaning in SQL. If you know Python, you would probably prefer to do it in Python. So it's not just only about what the tools, but also what the skills are available for you to do the job. But when it comes to actually cleaning data in Power BI, you want to do it if the data is large and you see that this model is slowing down, you want to do it as close to the source or at the source as possible. So you can use data flows, you can use SQL, you can use Python, you can use, you have this Azure data factory, and there's like a ton of tools that you can use to actually do the cleaning. SQL is one of them. You just have to, I guess, know the language to be able to use it efficiently. And a lot of people do it in SQL. I'm just not very good at it, so I wouldn't be able to advise you exactly what resources you would go looking at. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Let me know if it doesn't.
Thank you. Thanks.
Awesome. So I think Ayobami's hand is also up.
Yeah,
So-
thank you
Okay.
very much for the opportunity. Hello, Ruth, once again.
Hello.
Yeah, it's always awesome to watch your video. At a point, I couldn't cope with your every week video releases. You are just awesome. I want to use opportunity to really appreciate your work. You might not have the true knowledge of your audience, how large and huge your audience is. At least I'm one of your very good fan. When I saw the invite as, oh, this Ruth coming, I just have to wake up no matter what. So yeah. So the question I want to now ask is like the way you engage a lot of people with your knowledge of a thing. Okay, even look at my career too. It's one of the people that he has put out his skills out there to engage people. Like some of us, we just want to launch out. There's this dilly-dally, or let's call it fear of a thing. You just at least to put out your skill, because I believe that the more so you put out your skill, it's also an encouragement for you to learn more. So okay, when I even read your story about even your business name, cover from the World Cup, the World Cup ball, I was also inspired. I know that okay, life have thrown something at you, and that propelled you. So how do we people like me, that also want to launch out, putting out my skill there? How do I get encouraged? How do I push myself into this? So that I know how to engage audience to, push out my knowledge so that people should come in. But something just keep pushing me back of a thing. So what advice do you have for people like us?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for watching my channel. Really appreciate it. And when I started doing YouTube, I was frightened every time I click the publish button, because I come from an engineering world, so I have nothing to do with data. And I was petrified that I was going to say something wrong, that I was going to explain something the wrong way, and I would look stupid. I was like, oh my God. So I would push the publish button, I would do like this, and I would sleep bad that night. Okay, something like that. So at the end of the day, I let it go. There's no point in that. The thing is that I do not know everything, and I want everybody to know that I don't know everything. I will do mistakes. You see it on the videos sometimes where I do things, and then you read the comments and say, oh my God, Ruth, you missed X, Y, Z, or this is going to give you the wrong result when you change the year and they put the code of what it is. And the truth is, nobody knows everything, and we are not perfect. And if we just accept that, then I think you will feel more confident to put your knowledge out there. And if you do something wrong, if you say something wrong, you say, I'm sorry. You take the video down if it was very, very wrong, and then you put a new one with the right answer. Okay, so just do it. Like, it doesn't matter if it's wrong, just do it. If it's wrong, correct it by putting another video, say sorry, and move on. Like, and there's no perfect video. Sometimes you see my videos have a bad sound, or the image is not very good. And I said, I mean, this is not a beauty contest. I'm here to help you solve a problem. So if the videos are bad, but who cares if it solves your problem? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what
Thank
is
you.
stopping you? What is the fear for it being wrong, or is something else?
I just couldn't really pinpoint, I don't know. I don't know how to really place it. I just want to, okay, let me start something, but I don't know where to start, how to, that's one of the things that, okay, I'm trying to overcome too. So that's why it's okay. Let me also ask in that direction, how are you able to overcome it, then you eventually launch out. And here you are today, you gain a very large and wide audience.
Yeah, no, I think just if you find something that you do that you say, hey, that was really cool, post it. It doesn't matter if somebody has done it before, because your perspective is going to be unique. Nobody's going to do it the way you do it. And,
Okay.
Sometimes when people watch my videos, they say, I did not understand anything. And then they go somewhere else and then they find something that they understand. So it could be found on you instead of me, even though we're saying almost the same thing. You know what I mean? So your voice is valuable. Just use it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ruth.
I'm looking forward to see what you post.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. So just go by a motto Nike. Just do it. So, Ruth, there are some questions for you. So someone is asking, how do I become a Power BI developer, or what's the roadmap towards becoming a Power BI developer?
Yeah. Okay. So I would say you have to love to work with data, number one, right? So if you find yourself that you're during the day going back to Power BI, analyzing things and doing stuff, that's a good sign that you're going to be a very good developer. And then the next thing that you need to do is to practice a lot. And I would recommend you that you practice with data sets that interest you, right? You don't have to always go to the Northwind data set or the AdventureWorks or Contoso thing that, that has been done 1,000 times. Do something that interests you. Let's say that you enjoy baseball, or that you enjoy, I don't know, some specific music in your country, Nigeria, and there is a data set about it. Download it, play with it, and visualize it. And then don't be afraid of showing it to the world and say, hey, this is what I did. What do you think? And then get feedback. And by doing that, you will be getting better and better, and you will put more time into actually working with Power BI because you are doing something that you enjoy. It's not like, oh, I have to do this financial P&L stuff that I actually don't like doing. You won't spend the necessary time to actually get better at your job. So make sure that you do it a lot, do it with things that interest you, and then post it online, and then have people give you feedback, because that will help you grow. They will say, oh, how about you do this visualization or that visualization? And then, you will improve your skills.
Nice. Ben, do you want to ask any question?
Yeah, so reading from that stuff, from the form. So what are some of your favorite DAX formulas?
Oh, I'm finding myself using last non-blank and first not-blank quite a lot lately. Calculate obviously is my number one favorite. Use filter a lot. Yeah, but my favorite one, it has to be like first non-blank and last not-blank. I think it's so useful to use. Top N is very useful also. I don't know, there are some DAX measures that you keep on running into all the time, and they're very, very useful. But obviously, number one, it has to be calculate. It's so powerful.
Okay, I think someone answers up. So, Sierra. Okay, I think your lowered his hand.
Yes, so that's the question.
Sorry?
Okay, so someone's asking, Sierra, are you there? Okay, unmute yourself. Sierra, are you still there? Okay. So I'll read from the question from our listing. So someone is asking now, what is the difference between the Power Query in Power BI and the Power Query in Excel?
Oh, okay. The difference between Power Query in Power BI and Power Query in Excel. Yeah. So this is what I understand. I believe that Microsoft has a Power Query developer team where they develop everything about the language, and then you have people in Power BI that implements the Power Query, people in Excel team that implements Power Query, and the other places where Power Query is. The difference would be what those teams decided to implement from when it's being developed. So, for example, you will see now that a lot of the Power Query development is happening on data flows. So you can do a lot of things in data flows that you cannot do in Power BI or in Excel. And the reason I think is just because maybe it's easier to implement, maybe it's easier to push the changes and test them. I really don't know. But what you are going to find between Excel and Power BI is that there are going to be things that you can do in Power BI that you cannot in Excel, and the other way around, just because they have not been implemented for whatever reason. Maybe there's an incompatibility issue, or they didn't have the time, they decided not to prioritize that because maybe you can do it in DAX, or but it is the same thing. I mean, it's the same language, it's just that it just gets implemented differently on the tools.
Yeah, thanks, Ruth. Yeah, that was quite insightful. Yeah, I just have another question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so you earlier you mentioned that whatever skills, if you want to improve, just play with the data and get sorted and then post on LinkedIn and you get some feedback, right? So we can see some of the comments, like people mentioning, like very not that criticizing that some of the comments. So how to overcome that and take it in a positive way going forward? Like it's like it's not constructive criticism we see in the whatever the platform is. So how we can go forward?
Yeah. I was actually when I started on YouTube a little bit afraid of getting hate comments. So I understand where you come from. Fortunately, I have got some weird comments, but very, very, very few. And I think you will find probably the same, that your fear is probably not as big as the actual harassment could be, hopefully. But if you do get a hate comment or a comment that you feel that is not appropriate, you have actually two ways to do it. You can actually ignore it. I find it very hard to ignore. What I normally like to do is to turn it into something positive, for me at least. So if something says something negative about a video, said, oh, what you said was stupid, for example, I would say, thank you for the feedback, right? Even if I think that the comment is not really it didn't say it in an appropriate way, you should say it was not useful because X, Y, Z, right? That would have helped me. It just said it was not useful or it was stupid. I said, okay, thank you for the feedback. And when I say that, it just goes, the hate, it just transforms into a positive thing. And then I can forget about it. That's what works for me. So I turn always the comments into either I ask questions, sometimes I follow up, okay, could you be more specific? But you have to be a bit careful about feeding the troll, You have to know if you should ask the question and actually getting more hate, or you should just say, okay, thank you, whatever. If it is super, super rude, I just say, thank you for the feedback and I'm done. But if I see that there is a hint of the person just maybe did not phrase it correctly, I might go and ask for clarification. At the end of the day, you cannot let the troll stop your development. You should not let the troll stop your development. So if it gets too nasty, maybe you can have somebody that cleans the comments for you before you read them, or changing a platform to a better platform.
Yeah, that's quite I got some insights, but since then I have a within the workspace, if we get these comments, like some sort of like whatever you explained, right, hatred or some sort within the workspace, then like if it is just the social media or whatever may be the platform, we can just avoid it or ignore it. But in case in the workspace, if we get like we are starting as a fresher with some Power BI tool, and like people will be always there will be some experienced people telling, oh, this also you might not know. Like, how do get into that out of, and yeah.
Okay, so you mean that you are getting bad feedback at work, on your workspace at work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I think if you get it at work, you have the right for a clarification. You should be able to call that person up and say, hey, what do you mean? And I think, there are actually trainings that you can do probably also for free online about getting and receiving feedback that will tell you, like, you need to, normally when you get bad feedback, if you say to the person, like, would you said it hurt me? Because it did, right? And it's like, I would appreciate if you could word it in a different way, because I would be able to receive the feedback better. So if it is somebody at work, you definitely should be able to talk to the person and say, would you mind please clarifying? Your comment hurt me. Please phrase it in a more professional way, right?
Yeah, but since then, yeah, we can do that. But since then, like people develop some hatred even on us as well. Like, see, like she's telling this, and like if we tell them to some senior leadership, no, I don't think so. Like going forward, that is
Yeah.
like always be there with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to speak without the actual context, but if you know by heart that there is no point, ignore it. Like, seriously, just, that is a troll, and that's fine, and let it go. If you know that there is a chance that that person had a bad day, give it a go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Sorry that you're going through that. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
You have a question, yes.
Yeah, actually a question. So Ruth, thank you so much. You really put a lot down. Okay, so my question is it's not really this whole straightforward thing, right? So the whole concept of data analysis has to do with Python, Excel, and Power BI. But lately now, the requirement for being a data analyst has even shifted from just only knowing Python or the normal DAX. I see things like you having a cloud skill, like a cloud structure skill like Azure, AWS, or GCP. So do you say like you just need only Power BI and Excel and Python and SQL makes you a full data analyst, or you still need to have cloud-based skills like Azure, AWS, and GCP? And the second one is, if I was going to choose between the three frame, which one do you prefer and go for? I know you're an Microsoft MVP, but which one would you think I can go for out of the three of them?
Okay, so for the first question, how to be like a full stack data analyst, I think it depends on where you are going to work for, or who you are going to work for, because you will find, if you work with different companies, that the data maturity is very, very different. So you have companies that just work with Excel, and just if you're very good with Excel, you'll find a job. Others, they have, for example, started implementing Power BI, and with Power BI, Excel, a little bit of SQL, you will be fine. And then if you talk about enterprise and data science, then there's a lot more tools and languages that you probably will be asked to either know or learn. So it depends on, for example, if you're working with Amazon, they use obviously Amazon Cloud, but then they have other types of databases for large data that you need to know in order to work with them. And if you know that, you could have a job full time. it's very difficult to say generally, but for, I had the possibility to download data. This was just for Indeed.com in the US, all the data jobs. And SQL is number one when it comes to programming language. And then you would have, obviously, what was it? It was a little bit of Python. Python was a little bit less. Then you would have Power BI and Excel, some data visualization tools. Excel was number one as a data visualization tool, believe it or not. It was amazing. A little bit of Tableau, a little bit of Click. Then you have, obviously, the three big for cloud is Azure, Amazon, and Google. Amazon is the number one cloud provider in size, right? At least in money. I'm not sure how many customers they do have. But if you learn Amazon Cloud, you definitely will find a job. Then obviously you have Spark and you have Hadoop for big data. The data space is so big. So you need to decide where you want to go, if you're a data scientist or cloud engineer, and then focus on the tools that they require. It's very difficult to say in general, do this, because just the job that you have maybe requires something else. And the second question was about it, the cloud, right?
Yeah. Like if I was going to choose one, you're not being a Microsoft, like which one would you advise me going for out of the three?
Yeah, if not Azure, then AWS for sure.
Thank you. That's just something I've been thinking for a very long time. So is there any other question? I can see more people are now joining in. So if you have any question, you can put your hands up. Hello, if you have any question, you can put your hands up.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, Michael.
Okay, and my questions are a bit always like different from maybe what's expected, but then again, I maybe put some diversity. So Ruth, if you want to look, might be very hard to look, but it'd be nice to see your take about it. If you're going to look many years, say maybe 10, 12 years into the future, and I know things will be differently from how it is now. 8 years ago, nobody would think that Power BI, Tableau, let's say even 12 years ago, nobody would think about what we do in Excel. People will now start moving some of it into self-service BI. So if you want to take an aggressive look into the future, do you think that Power BI will maybe now be the new Excel? Everybody's using Power BI and it's like, oh, Power BI can't do this, can't do that, do these other tools. Or do you think that we'll be using many tools at once and there won't be any one dominant tool?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. Here's what I think. The way Power BI is right now, it is not going to take over Excel, because Excel is a lot easier to use. And I work with different customers all over the world. I see the struggle, and the struggle is actually real. In order for Power BI to take over Excel, it needs to be as easy as it is in Excel. And at the moment, it is not. And right now, it's being more developed towards being a data management platform, and not so much about the data analyst job where you do in Power BI desktop, right? Where you clean the data and you prepare beautiful visualizations and that type of stuff. So I don't think Power BI will take over Excel the way it's being developed at the moment. When it comes to 10 years down the line, I think that a lot of automation will probably happen. I mean, I have tried this, all sorts of AI algorithms for all sorts of stuff, like recognition of forms and image recognition. And there's tons of, you've seen it in Power BI, for example, this narrative visual that is supposed to give you insights of your data set. In reality, it puts out text that is not very useful yet. The question is, how long will it take for it to actually deliver true insights, things that we normally deliver in our jobs? And probably won't take a long time. So in 10 years, maybe there's not a need for a data analyst in the way that we know it today. Maybe a lot of the basic analysis will be done by machines, and we will be needed for other types of discoveries or other types of data work. 10 years, is it enough? Probably not, but yeah, I think we are a profession that is definitely going to be automatized in the near future. Doesn't sound too happy, but we will be able to do other types of job, I think, within data analysis, things that machine will probably not do right away, hopefully. We'll see. What are your thoughts? What do you think will be in 10 years?
I don't know. Now I see another angle to it that I've never really thought about it. I've never thought of AI. I've always been thinking about tools, what would be the next big tool and what about the next platform. But I see that there's a bigger threat with the AI redefining our workspace.
Definitely. They are doing tests, these narrative visual is an AI trying to do what a data analyst does, right? So yeah, we'll see. But I mean, it's not doing it very well for now, so we will have work quite a few years down the line, but we'll see. We'll see how many.
Thank you. So I think Cherian has something to say to you. He's one of your big fans.
Oh, hi.
Cherian, do you want to unmute? And I see that we are coming to the end with the time. So if you can also begin to step back in.
Yeah, so we ended the session very soon. Okay, so Cherry asked a question. Okay, so his first question was I wrote Cherry here from Abu Dhabi. Says a big fan of your work and thanks for what you do in Power BI and Power Query. And his question would be, what would you like Power BI to have in the next release or updates? Is there anything you wish for Power BI to have? So what would you have?
Yes. I wish for Articulator to be a visual that is delivered with Power BI, right? Not as a custom visual, but as a out of the box visual. And the reason for that is because it will make creating visualizations a lot easier. You don't have the hassle of a custom visual that needs to be installed and checked and approved by IT and all that stuff. Because I think the weakest link right now for Power BI is data visualization. So I wish for more like Excel-like transformations for visuals in Power BI. That will make my Christmas done for this year.
Okay, then he had a I guess a shout out. So it's a special thanks to you and to all you do. And he was supposed to decrease the turnaround time for his deliverable from 5 hours to like 30 minutes. And his colleague has been calling me a magician ever since. And that was thanks to your videos and your team.
I was so glad to hear. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everybody watching and supporting my work. And yeah, I'm so happy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for what you do. Okay, so are there like any other questions? If there are none, we'll be ending the session in a few minutes. Okay, so I guess there are. Okay, there's one more question. So yeah,
Okay, Ruth, in your leisure time or when you are not busy with Power BI or engineering stuff as your primary domain, so what do you do maybe to unwind or to, at your leisure time, what do you engage yourself with?
Yeah. So I do a lot of sports actually. So Sweden, we have all the weathers, like from rain to snow to a little bit of sun and a lot.
Okay.
So I do in the winters skiing and running throughout the year. I love to run.
Wow.
And then I do golf in summer, biking. I do all kinds of sports. It depends on the weather, what allows to do. So,
Brilliant. Good.
yeah, it just keeps my head clear.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Oh, interesting spot.
Yes, the video will be available. But the session was supposed to be in 2 weeks, so I guess you're getting it before it gets available. But you're saying it live or it gets available. But the video will be available in 2 weeks on this YouTube channel, which you can check out. Okay, yeah. Tell me know your skeptics in the chat. So again, Ruth, thank you so much for this session, and thank you everybody for joining this session. Like the middle of the day, and you're able to make it.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Ruth.
Huge pleasure from my side. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
hope to see you again.
Yeah, see you soon on YouTube. Thank you. So cool. Thank you for inviting me. Really fun to talk to you guys.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you,
There you
Ifeanyi.
are.
Thank you, Michael. You're all doing great job.
You are,
Thank you.
definitely.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.